As you are well aware, the case of election misconduct in Gonzales has drawn a lot of attention. It even caused the resignation of one councilman and raised suspicions on many levels. It is most likely this issue has been ongoing for years. Can you address the issue of making mistakes versus intentionally defrauding the voters?
I think that probably it's easy to make mistakes if you're looking at an application for a ballot. I suppose people who actually get their ballots, I suppose they can make mistakes. When I ran for election re-election in 2008, I had was able to win that election with over 75% of the vote. And of course, there have been some accusations, there have been some comments made, and this gives me an opportunity to address those, because never have I committed any fraudulent activity, and never have I had anything to do with ballot tampering, anything of that nature. I think it's unfortunate that things like that do happen, but I think one of the things that probably needs to be done is anybody who's running for public office, there should probably be some period of time that they can be schooled, whether it's a little area to go to, because there are a lot of rules and regulations that go along with that.
Thank you. A reader asked us to address issues surrounding the Lynn Theater. It was, and last night, I believe you were at the council meeting, it was revealed at the council meeting last night that the owner is considerably behind on his payments, and I know he's working with SBC and trying to get that straightened out. The reader wants to know why several fundraisers were held for Norma's House, which you're chairman of that board, when the funds could have went to GEDC, and obviously you're chairman of that board, and they want to know if you think that's a conflict of interest, or what is your position on this?
Okay, can you repeat the last part of that, please? I know it was a long question.
Yes, it was. The basic premise is that fundraisers were held at the Lynn Theater, and the money went to Norma's house when it could have went to pay the GEDC notes or whatever.
Okay.
And that you're chairman of both those boards, and they want to know if you feel that's a conflict of interest, or what your position is on it.
Okay, so the question is, the borrower is behind on payments to GEDC, had fundraisers where Norma's house was named and monies were given in that name, and I am president of GEDC, which is one of the note mortgagees.
That's the question.
Okay, and president of Norma's house. I would love to answer that question. Thank you. Can I have more than 30 seconds?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay.
I'll start in a minute and a half right now.
Is that a conflict of interest? First of all, I will clarify, when the fundraiser was done, I was not president of Norma's house. I wasn't humbly asked. I was voted in as president of Norma's house in the most recent months. However, Mr. Collins did come to us last year, and quite frankly, I'm glad Gonzales has him. His project was also voted on unanimously. Unanimous by GEDC and unanimous by the City Council. And I'm very proud to state that. He is behind on his payments. It's no secret. I'm not trying to keep it a secret. I think it was reported 90 days. And he is working a restructure, a business plan restructure through the SBDC currently. During the last 9 months, the Lynn Theater has brought some wonderful things to our community. Some musicals, 60 children at one time on the stage, and there were stellar reports on that. And anything to encourage our children, I'm all for it. As far as, is that a conflict of interest? I really do not think so. He did name Norma's House as the beneficiary of that production. At the end of that production, I can tell you, he asked if he could postpone that contribution to us at a later time. Well, what do you think I'm going to do? Submit him to the credit bureau for crying out loud? I told him at that time I was perfectly comfortable. I had no doubt he was going to honor his agreement. And Norma's House has not received those monies at this time. He also worked very diligently, he and his fiance, and they sponsored our Miss Gonzales pageant. Had we had to have paid, and I say we, Norma's House, because Norma's House sponsored that pageant, it would have been easily somewhere to the tune of about $7,000.